Hello, this is Davisha L. Johnson, and you are coming back to us at the second annual Ghana Hemp Tech Conference. And we have with us today our presenter. He's the founder and CEO of Cannabis South and also a personal friend of mine. He's coming to us from Colorado in the United States to talk about, as I said in our opening, the most important thing about industrial hemp industry, which is the buyer. So he will be talking about off-taker agreements. He's well versed in the subject with his own things going on. So I will read his bio to you and then let him give his presentation as the first workshop here for the online in-person second annual Ghana Hemp Tech Conference. So I would like to introduce our first speaker on off-taker agreements. His name is Nathan Ibidapo. He is the founder of Cannabis South. He founded it in 2013, and Cannabis South is an industrial hemp company focused on commodities of the hemp and cannabis plants throughout all levels of the supply chain. Nathan was born in East Point, Georgia. Shout out to GA. To Nigerian immigrants. Shout out to Niger folks. After spending several years in Lagos, Nigeria, Nathan returned to America still at a young age to finish school. In May 2011, he graduated from Riverdale High School, and in the fall of that year, attended the Alabama State University. In 2017, Nathan graduated with a BS in social work. Nathan's goal since 2013 has been to learn and apply the many different beneficial values of cannabis and hemp, providing millions of Blacks and communities in the South with medical alternative access, educational tools, non-supplemental therapy, among other things, through the evolving hemp and cannabis industry in America. Over the past several years, Nathan has learned and worked with the industry's best and also the most vulnerable populations in the South and Midwest United States. He has watched laws in other states out west and in the North leave the South behind. Cannabis South not only aims to build the bridge for centuries of long abuse to the Black community's gap and lead the new age of cannabis and hemp. I would like to introduce to you our first session presenter for the Ghana Hemp Tech Conference, Mr. Nathan Ibidapo with Cannabis South. Nathan, the floor is yours. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Davisha, for that. Good day, everyone. It's definitely an honor to be with everyone here on this great day. The Ghana Hemp Tech Conference is not just a gathering of us, just to speak lightly about these issues, but to kind of move things forward in a productive manner, so that people are able to take this content, able to act upon it, whether it's from a local standpoint or even from a governmental standpoint. So I'm very, very honored to be here with you guys to do my part. To jump right into, she kind of laid out my background. It was more or less me finding this adaptation of the industry back in 2013, while I was still here in the United States. Definitely figuring out the nuances behind what it takes to really be successful in this industry. Of course, we can speak about operational. Of course, we can think about certain things that more financial benefit for a business immediately, but the long-term sustainability of not only ourselves as business owners and visionaries, but for the next generation, it for me was very, very invaluable and something that I couldn't afford myself to leave behind. So along with obviously focusing on the business implementation of what we want to do, currently we have a vertically integrated license in Lesotho, the Kingdom of Lesotho, where we're able to grow our own medical grade cannabis, process it, as well as distribute and export it all under the same vertically integrated license in South Africa. I wanted to double up the ante and see what also it would be needed from us to be able to control the whole aspect of the value chain. When we speak of the value chain, we're more or less referring to every level of the whole seed to sell, predominantly that people right now are focusing on right now. So how do we control the genetics that we grow? How do we process it into commodities that we know people will want? And how do we get it to them, whether it's through distribution through air, water, or ground? And also, how do we test these things to make sure they're meeting standards of not only the country that we're actually able to operate in, but the country that we see fit of our products actually eventually going to, i.e. America or Europe or Canada. So currently what my company is focused on right now has been, for the past 3 years, I've been solely focusing on the buyers. So when we talk about buyers, we're not just talking about anyone who comes into your store or comes by your farm and says, I want to buy it. We're talking about the long systemic aspect of what the European Americans have established through their own form of networking, their own form of communication, which is that if they're able to have a good ready to be sold to the market, they're not having to go find buyers. Buyers are actually able to meet them at the point of growing it, processing it into formulating to things that they know as the buyer will be sold. So over the last few years, I've had the privilege and the honor of sitting down in front of some incredible leaders of their own companies outright, such as Tilray, speaking to the president of that company, which is one of the largest companies in the world, about what is it that they look for when they seek buyers. And one of the interesting things he mentioned to me was that right now they're only focused on the larger commodities. The larger commodities, when we speak of industrial hemp, and excuse me that I don't bring up cannabis too much in this conversation, but when we talk about the actual sustainability of the commodity of industrial hemp, he himself mentioned that they focus more or less on the larger commodities, such as the industrial hemp fiber portion of industrial hemp, which can be used for installation, can be used for hempcrete, bioplastic, and in larger note, once science get behind it, we can eventually start figuring out how it can be converted to biofuel and things like that, so that cars and generators and things like that in these countries that don't have consistent electricity or consistent mills and things like that can be able to rely upon. But right now, it's still in its infancy. And even as CEO of his company is having the foresight of looking at how does it benefit them on a larger end of focusing on that one commodity, industrial hemp fiber, and not only that, how they to sell it to a marketplace that's right now still in its infancy. So taking from that conversation and applying it to my own journey thus far is really invigorated me to remember that buyers is everything. I tell my team every day, whether out in Lesotho or here in America, that we can grow it all day. We can process it all day. We can even load our trucks all day. But if we have no distinction or no direction to where we're going to sell it, it doesn't matter. My great sister Davisha has been doing some tremendous work, as we all know, to building inroads in Ghana for the people that want to get into the industry. And my whole nervous base is that we're definitely putting people into the field. We're definitely putting people in the invigoration of trying to get around the system of industrial hemp, full vertically integrated, great aspects of it. But where are our buyers? Our buyers won't come domestically. They'll have to come internationally to be able to know that we're able to support not only their lives at that moment, but we're able to give the government of Ghana a bigger look about how it plays off of them being able to control a certain amount of industrial hemp leaving the shores of Ghana to go to America or go to Canada or go to America. So for instance, right now, for one project, for instance, to be sustainable or to be even looked at as a sustainable avenue for alternative biofuel or bioplastic or hempcrete, we need to average upon one 1 ton of industrial hemp fiber per month. And that is coming from an industrial hemp processor out of Israel, who's right now they're focusing on mainly research, but they figured out the nuances of how much it takes to actually convert an already established industry like concrete, fuel, the automotive sector into something that could potentially look at industrial hemp as an alternative. So for us, our avenue has been to look at each individual industry that we want to affect and to engage with those leaders of those industries to seek how can we support them. So the verbiage that we use is how do we serve rather than how can we sell, right? Because when you speak of selling something to a buyer, it initially thinks that you're just trying to do a one-off thing. Our thing is not to be a one-off thing. Our thing is to be in the mode of serving these larger industries that already know the marketplace, that already know their consumers, or already know the companies that they're affiliating with on a smaller note in local states or local governments, and to see how we can support them. So one of the buyers we're actually facilitating our conversations with from Lesotho specifically to Europe is a pharmaceutical company. because right now we're still in negotiation with them to figure out how much we'll be sending, how much medical grade cannabis we'll be selling to them once we upon us raising funds and upon us being ready to operate, hope by God's grace, later this year. Not able to say their name, but they are a pharmaceutical company based out of Germany, and they're one of the largest ones in Europe that facilitates importation of medical grade cannabis. And for us, that is the gateway for us to be able to really put onus on what we really truly want to do, which is to create that industrial hemp revolution. And when I speak of a revolution, I'm not speaking of just, like I said, focusing on one commodity that we feel is better sold for a certain monetary benefit. But when you speak it to a buyer, they more or less are looking at how does it change their whole business model fundamentally, or how does it add, or how does it negatively affect. And for that company, specifically the pharmaceutical company, who generated over $90 million last year on just pharmaceutical drugs. They also have an outlet of about 3,000 pharmaceutical pharmacies in Europe itself. So their outlook is very vast. So we're able to then talk to them. We're able to sit down with them and say, how do we serve you guys? How do we already make what you guys have going even better? And one of the things I found out is that with the skin, I call it skin equity now, not social equity, that we have as Black leaders, Black visionaries in our lifetime, we command the room. We may not think we do, but we really do. And it's the thanks of God, of some of my life, that I'm able to sit in front of rooms that people that look at us that we have more, but we look at them that they have more, and we're able to mediate to come down to a solid ground and able to really draw onus on what we truly want to do. My goal and my hope is that eventually we're able to fulfill a contract or two and immediately revert their relationship with us to Ghana and to any other farmer that wants to take the industrial hemp fiber route. The best way I've seen it being done when seeking a buyer for any commodity is to see how their path align long term with your short term. Of course, we all need to be sustainable. Of course, we all need to make money. I'm not naive about that fact. But when it comes to certain these conversations, the money is not the main aspect that they're looking for. Long standing relationships. They're looking for a network, and they're looking for ability to adapt. When I speak of adaptation, it's kind of similar to what here I've seen personally in Colorado, in Georgia, in little states here and there that I've always kept the eye on, just to see how would this be kind of be changed for the South. And one of the things I noticed is that people are running to the most hottest things on the market. So, for instance, a couple years ago, it was for CBD. CBD is a great commodity. CBD it was the forward moving commodity that got people engaged when it came to the industrial hemp plant. But for me, to label yourself or to put yourself at the onus and at the footstep of CBD will be detrimental for what we're really trying to do. Being that now CBD, if you grow it, you can't find a buyer. But say that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, CBD was the hottest thing. Buyers were buying it, by the tons. They were just ravishing the market with just saturation of CBD flower, CBD oils, CBD, whatever you can think of. But living in a state that has everything, that has the nuances of a private industry as well as an open industry like Colorado, my thing is, here in America is a microcosm of what will be globally. People will have their taste of whatever they want. People will have their flower. People will have their cannabis. People will have their oils, whatever it is they want. But how do that play a part from the ones like us who want to build the inroads for our people in our community? How does that help us see it that way? And for me, it's taking a step back, seeing that CBD was just one commodity that they would push out and allow the farmers, the processors, the distributors, as well as the testers to push it out to the marketplace and not figure out, is it sustainable? That's really an answer for us to really answer when it comes to being sustainable and how that actually plays a part in the marketplace. So right now, a lot of the farmers here in the United States that I've talked to that currently want to work with me, but my focus is on Africa as this time. as we're trying to get off the ground in Lesotho is for us to really just take care of home base first. Make sure Ghana as well as Lesotho have inroads to having everything that is grown in those two specific areas and have a place to be sold to a larger buyer, of course, but a buyer that knows that how much is important it is to work with us because we have so much of a community grassroots movement. Another thing that is a very, very key for a buyer's standpoint is what is your community outreach? What is your standpoint? What, apart from the numbers, apart from how much hemp and industrial hemp you can grow for them, what is the community dependency on this being grown? And for us in Lesotho, what I've established from day one is a community network, working with local villages, working with a 30 women village to grow our industrial hemp, or i.e. medical grade cannabis. Those same women will allocate one or two hectares aside so that they're able to have fresh produce anytime they want to. We'll maintain the farm, we'll maintain everything when it comes to the planting, and they will be able to harvest, to be able to pick however many food they need for that day or for that week, as well as a clothing program, getting donated clothes here, getting feminine products as well, donated from American institutions here, nonprofit institutions, if not HBC universities, to support them as well. So creating that whole community aspect of kind of around the operation, but more or less something that stands out on its own so that the buyers know we're not just there to obviously focus on the commodity there, but we also focused on the community that will be affected regardless one way or the other once we're established in Ghana or in Lesotho. Last point I have here is that whenever we speak of a buyer, we're really just speaking of a person willing to buy into a dream, buy into a vision. Right now, the most credible thing anyone can get in this industry is called a letter of intent. Even with the letter of intent, I've had two, right? And I've had two in the last 3 years or so. One right now, I'm hoping to close down in the next few months here. But with the letter of intent, it just pretty much states the letter of intent to purchase what you have grown, right? Some people will purchase that letter of intent upon it being finished. When I mean finished as a finished commodity, that means it's already packaged, it's already in bottles, you already manufacture it so that the buyer can take it and immediately put it on the shelves. Like I spoke of our partners in Europe who have pharmacies. So it'll be conducive to us to get it to them in a finished market, in a finished form, so that we're able to keep as much revenue and much profit into our network as possible. But if not, if the capacity is not there, then we go ahead and just let them know immediately, this is what we can do. This is how much we can produce every month at this price point. And if they agree with it, that's all we focus on. That's all we thrive in. Another thing would be to make sure that education to them or to whoever they see fit, you add in value to, is very important. I feel buyers also look at the most educated, the most well-structured team-wise when it comes down to closing buyers deals as well. Right now, Ghana is such in its infancy that my great sister Davisha is doing some great work on ground. And for everyone that's at this conference, you guys will be better off for it because not a lot of Black queens, not a lot of Black kings here in the United States have that. I call it agape love, to go back to the continent, to sit there, to walk there, to have that environment hit them, and then still not forget about what the mission is. And the mission is to not only just stop at growing, processing, manufacturing, distributing, as well as testing, but is also to make sure that we're able to pay ourselves and to pay our local farmers, our local processors, and play each stage of each level of the value chain, at a well compensated price, just like the Europeans are. Not to say we're in competition with anyone, but to look left and right to know that we are one-on-one. We have to be able to look at other markets and other places that are doing it very well. And one of the markets I'll give everyone kind of a homework assignment to do is to look at Europe's market. Europe's market for more of a operational standpoint. If you have a grow site, if you have a processing facility or a distribution, whatever level of the value chain, I would hardly press that you look at Europe. America is not the place to look for when it comes to the overall establishment of each value chain. America can be utilized for numbers, can be utilized for projections, can be utilized for the stability of the licensing in each state, in each country, each state and province and localities. But overall, looking at the United States only as the source of information, the source of what will be in this industry, I hard pressed that we look up elsewhere and keep America in mind, of course, because it is the largest marketplace in the world, the largest consumer base in the world. But when it comes to the establishment of it, the inroads that are not necessarily something that people run to overnight, it will be Africa that will lead the way. We have the land, we have the intellectual power there. We have people like Davisha and myself on the ground whenever we need to be to talk to government officials to make sure that when a buyer looks at Africa, right? When they look at Africa from the standpoint, they're not looking at it as, oh, corruption, oh, military shooting people. Or like when I went to Zimbabwe in 2019, it was very, very hard after the government gave me a conditional license to start my medical marijuana operation, being that they will provide the land with the military security to come back to this country and say, I have a vision, I have a plan. Can I seek money? Can I seek funding? So what this conference is all about is just, like I said, bringing everybody together, making sure everybody has the best information at hand to make that informed decision. One of the quotes that I live by that I tell my team every day is trust but verify. People can tell you everything all day. People can make everything sound good. People can write everything up in a nice presentation of PowerPoints. But the thing that we all need to do is make sure that we all are focused in on trusting but verifying that information through whatever means is possible. And a lot of that information doesn't come from the United States. It comes from Europe, it comes from Canada, and it comes from the Middle East, i.e. Israel and things like that. So for me, I definitely would tell everyone to continue doing their homework. If you're interested in the industrial hemp side of things specifically, please contact me. Please contact Davisha immediately or upon whatever avenue of communication you guys have. Just let us know your questions, your thoughts, what your fears are, because there is a lot of fear when it comes to dealing with the continent of Africa, as well as dealing with other European countries. But we have to realize that we have the power, we have the modality and the mindset to change this industry for the better. That's why here in America, I kind of laugh at myself internally when I wake up and think how much movement I've already made. And it's not equated to a monetary number, is because people here in America are all running different circles and different things to get to the same thing. So I'm very, very hopeful for the future. And that, that more buyers will show themselves more willing to do business in Africa. But initially, it takes setting up the structure, it takes these type of conferences so that the world is looking at Africa in a different way. I will wrap up by saying thank you guys. Thank you, Davisha, once again. It's been an honor. It's been a long, long road. But I thank God for every day He's given me to in this journey, in this walk. And I definitely look forward to communicating with everyone if anyone has any questions or concerns. Thank you, guys.
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this presentation. I'm trying to get my audio back together. But thank you for explaining and giving us a presentation on off-taker agreements. I think it was more important that people understood the real of what you said and how much, when you use the word ton in itself, I think that gave some real perspective on what people need to think about. And because I have moved to Ghana, I realized that there's a lot of information that is lacking, and I really appreciate the fact that you came on and have an actual farm here on the continent, but you are not here. You are over back in Babylon in Colorado.
Yeah.
Right, right. But you made that transition. You're a young man. We didn't talk about all the things that I know that you have done. And just so I can toot your horn for you, Nathan was also the youngest African American male to get to be part of the pilot program for industrial hemp in Alabama. And I want to say that I was a proud participant, short but sweet, in that process. So I really am proud of you, Mathan, and all that you have accomplished. And I look forward to seeing what you have next and how this evolves, and then how you can come on board here in Ghana and help offer your expertise. So our original plan of us getting to the continent at the same time, we're going to continue that. I'm here. I'm setting it up for you. I'm waiting on you to get here so we can do some things in Ghana. So I really appreciate you taking the time out, because I know it's probably the wee hours in the morning there in Colorado. But I appreciate you coming. And we're going to take some, let me see if you have any questions on social media. If anyone has any questions, do you want, there's some comments.
Absolutely, sure.
There's someone here from Nigeria that says he's happy to be joining the conference from Nigeria. Bana Diamond Wilsey is here in Ghana. She says watching and getting ready to come. Oh, she's on her way here to the conference. Tama Smith, she's in the U.S. She said, good day, everyone. So if anybody wants to contact you, if anybody wants more information, if you want to give people your social media handles, your website, your contact info, that'll be fine as well.
Absolutely, Quinn. I appreciate it. So if anyone wants to reach out to me directly, so you can reach out the easiest way through email. I'm always on the email. So it's cannabissouth@gmail.com. So that's CANNABIS, just two S's, SOUTH@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram. A lot of our great works. Recently, we spoke at the state capitol this week in Georgia, and things like that. So if you wanted to follow us, you can follow us at official. So that's OFFICIAL_cannabis, CANNABIS_SOUTH. And you can DM us there, email me, as well as just kind of reach out to Devisha knows where I'm at all times. Please talk to our queen as well to try to get in touch with me, so that we can kind of make sure your thoughts and your questions are answered thoroughly. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mathan, for joining us for the second annual Ghana Hemp Tech Conference. I'm sure I will get some people out here and from wherever they're watching around the world, and today, tomorrow, the next day, and on moving forward to contact you. So we will definitely connect. And thank you again for coming out. I appreciate you.
Amen. God bless you guys. Have a great day, guys.
All right. Thank you. So that was Mathan with Cannabis South. And we're going to correct this audio or visual so you can see us for our next presenter. But we will be back momentarily with the second annual Ghana Hemp Tech Conference live from Accra. Thank you.